Hello, my friends. Today we're learning Baba Basra Daf Kuf Lamed Hey. We're going to start right at the top of the page. This person was dying, and Rashbam says that he had brothers and no kids, so he needed Yibum. Omrulei, they asked him, Isa Seliman, does she need Yibum or not? Omalahu, Chazia lekahana rabba, she could marry a Kohen Gadol. Doesn't really literally mean a Kohen Gadol because she's almona, but it means that she doesn't need Yibum. Omar Rava, says Rava, or the Basker is Rabba, my nechush, what should we be choishesh for her? My nechush lo. Omar Rav Chia bar Abba, Omar Rabbi Yochanan, Baal Omar Girashtis Ishtinemon, a person's believed to say that he divorced his wife, so he's believed to say that she doesn't need Yibum because he could divorce her. But he's believed to say that he divorced her. Omar le Abaye, V'oki also Rabbi Yitzchak bar Yosef, Omar Rabbi Yochanan, when Rabbi Yitzchak bar Yosef came from her, it is surely said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, that Baal Omar Girashtis Ishtinemon, so therefore you shouldn't believe him that he doesn't need Yibum, he's muchzak to Yibum, this wife. Did we not ask a stira and we answered that she's believed? We asked the stira between Rabbi Yochanan, and one says he says that a husband's believed, and one place it says he's not believed, and we answered that he's believed from now onwards and not in the past. See here, from now onwards. And that the Gemara asks, you had a story, you came up with a Torah, it's very nice and it fits in, but how do you know? Maybe really there's a shitta who holds, or Rabbi Yochanan holds, that you don't believe the husband, and therefore you can't let this lady get married. She needs Yibum or Chalitza. Rav Nosson bar Ami Chushla, you should be choishesh to what Abaye is saying, and you shouldn't let her marry anyone before she does Chalitza. Ahu, the have a muchzuklon, the loy, the les leachi, this person, the chazaka was that he has no brothers. But Omar b'shas misa, and he said when he was dying, the les leachi, he agreed with the chazaka, he has no brothers, and therefore his wife does not need chalitza yibum. Omar Rav Yosef, my leichushlo. Why is that to be choishesh for? Choder, first of all, the muchzuklon, the les leachim, the chazaka, he has no brothers, and therefore that be the chazaka, she's mutar lashuk. V'oid, and second of all, Omar b'shas misa, the les le. He himself said that he has no brothers, and therefore even more so we should say that she's mutar lashuk. Omar le Abaye, ha'omri, or people are saying in town, the ike edim b'medina sayom, that there's edim in Medina Sayom, in New Zealand, in a far away place, the other day is leachim, that the edim know that he has brothers, and therefore she needs yibum or chalitza. So the Gemara says, Ashtomios holisnu, come on, these Eidim are not in front of us. People are saying that there's Eidim somewhere else. These Eidim are not in front of us. Lavainu the Rab Chanina, this not similar to the case of Rab Chanina, the Omer Rab Chanina. Eidim betzad asoson v'to'osa. The story was the daughters of Shmuel were shvuyos, and the din as a shvuya, we assume that she did the znus, and therefore with her captured, and therefore she's a surah Lakona. And these daughters came, and there was a Pesh Asa Pesh 80. They said they were Shvuyas. We never knew that they were Shvuyas. And then the people said, oh, maybe there's Eidim that she did Aver, that they did Znus. So Rab Chanina said, if there's Eidim in the north, and we should make also, if there's Eidim, they should come say, until they don't come and testify, we don't have to be Choishesh. Also here, we shouldn't be Choishesh until Eidim come and testify. So Omar Abaye answered it to him, very good by Shvuya, that's a chashash, maybe she did know that we'll make her in many ways. Very good. Mekel be'eshesish, we should be mekel here in a woman who was married. And it doesn't really mean a eshesish because her husband died and therefore it's only a isalav. But still, a isha was also be'eshesish at the beginning and now it's a isalav. You should be choishesh and not matter her until you do yibum chalitza, and her it's a very harsh psak because we don't know about any brothers that could do chalitza yibum. We learned in the mission of the achi einoi nemon. If there's brothers, Reuven, Shimon, and Levi says, oh, we have another brother, Yehuda, and now Yaakov, the father, passes away. So we said that the din is that he's not believed, but Levi, who says that Yehuda is a brother, has to give him his portion, the Yerusha, to Levi, to Yehuda. Says the Gemara, Idoch, the other brothers, Reuben and Shimon, may come, what they saying? If they say Achunahu, this is our brother, Amai Tolim Bechelkoi. Why should Yehuda only take in Chelek Levi if Reuben and Shimon admit he should split with everyone? Eloi must be talking about the Ka'omri. Reuben and Shimon are saying, Lavachinu is not our brother, we don't know who this Yehuda is, it's nothing to do with our family. Eina Seifa, let's look in the Seifa of our Mishnah. Noflo Nechosim Imokim Acher. This Yehuda got Nechosim afterwards, he bought Nechosim and he passed away. Yershu Achi Bimoy. So not only Levi Yarshin him, also Reuben and Shimon. Why is it so? Why should Reuben and Shimon Yarshin him? They say that he's not his brother, so only Levi should Yarshin him. So the Gemara, the Mishnah is talking about the Ko'amri, Einonu Yoidim. Reuben and Shimon say, we don't know if it's our brother, and therefore they don't have to give him part of the Yerusha, but if Yehuda dies in the future, and he gained more Nechosim for himself, so now they can tell Levi, listen, you're saying he's our brother, we want to get part of his Yerusha. Omar Rava, as we could see from here, Moni Libiotcha, if Reuben comes to Shimon and says, you owe me a money, and Shimon says, I don't know, Potter. He doesn't need to pay, because here Levi is saying Yehuda is our brother, and Reuben and Shimon say we don't know, and they don't need to give them chelik to Yehuda, chelik of the Yerusha, and it's a machloikes of a meroim. The Chorah could see a clear right from our Mishnah that you potter. Abaye Omar says Abaye loylom kuflamet heon base really emelechochai really if Reuben comes to Shimon and says Moni libiotcha and Shimon says I don't know, Shimon needs to pay. Oh, why now Mishnah we see Reuben and Shimon don't need to give the chelik of Yerusha to Yehuda. There's a difference if Reuben comes to Shimon and says, you owe me money, and Shimon says, I don't know, then you chayav. But here, Yehuda doesn't say he's a brother. Levi is testifying that he's a brother. So Reuben and Shimon tell Levi, what's your business? Is it your money? No, you're telling Yehuda, we owe money to Yehuda. Let Yehuda be Toveit. Call out Yehuda doesn't know that he's a brother. He's not Toveit. We're not chayav, and it's a big difference. And therefore, in our Mishnah, you potter, but in a normal case of money, you'll be chayav. So we said that is a difference. If Yehuda passed away, so the nechosim that he got from the Yerusha from Yaakov, he gives it all back to Levi, because Levi gave it from his part. But if Yehuda got more nechosim afterwards, so the more nechosim, also Reuben and Shimon will get a part on it. Boy, Rava asked the Shaila, Shvach sheshivchu nechosim meilei mahu. What happens if the Shvach, Yehuda got a part in the Yerusha from Levi, and this nechosim became better in value by themselves? Is that considered like something that Yehuda went and got afterwards, or is it considered part of the field that only Levi gets? Says the Gemara, says the Rabbi, B'shvach ha'magiel ektefayim, I mean the shvach that this field became better from the hard work of Yehuda who invested in the field. Loiti boiloch, I don't have any shaila, d'chinoflu nechosim mokim acher domi. It's as if he got no nechosim, as if he bought no properties, and therefore Reuben and Shimon get part of it. Because it's like a new thing, that Yehuda invested in it. Kiti boiloch, when is my shaila? B'shvach she'enu magiel ektefayim. Shvach, they never did hard work to get it. Ki going, like an example, dikla ve'olin, there was a palm tree in the field and it became thicker. Arav aska shirtoin, or the land became bigger, that something came out the land and it happened naturally. Do we say that it's considered part of what Levi gave Yehuda and that only Levi gets it? Or we say, no, this is a new thing that Yehuda acquired and therefore Reuben and Shimon should also get part of it. And that the Gemara says, Mai, and the Gemara answers, Teku, we don't know. We don't come to answer Tishbi Teretz, Kushis, Veiboyas, and Bezos Hashem. Eliyahu Novi will reveal very soon and answer our Shaila. Says a Mishnah Mishemes Venintzes Daitiki Kshurali Reichoi. Someone passed away and they found the Daitiki. The Gemara is going to explain exactly Daitiki. That Daitiki means it's like 3 words put together. Do Te'ei Koi. This shall be. And it's like a tzavah of the Shchivmira. And it was tied to his thigh, and it says that he wants to give a present, all his nechosim to someone, or whatever it says on it. Aryeh in the klum, we don't go after this, because he never gave this star to the person, it was still on his leg. If, when he was still alive, when he was a shchivmira, he gave a star that says property A, property B, and he gave it to Reuven or his son, and he said, I want you to get this, wherever's written in the star. Doesn't matter if it's a son, one of the Yerushim, doesn't matter if it's someone else. We follow it because he gave it already when he was still alive. Ton Rabbanon, we learned in the Brisa, Ezehi Daitiki. What does the Daitiki mean? Kol Shekosubo, anything that's written in it, Do Tehei Lemekam, Daitiki, this shall be, Uliyos. Ve'ezehi Matona, what's a Matona? Kol Shekosubo, anything that's written in it, Ma'yoim Ulachar Misa. The person's giving the guf only Lachar Misa, from today, but the Paris only Lachar Misa, and that's considered a Matona, of Matona's Bori. On that the Gemara asks, Eloma, you want to tell me a matana is only if you wrote it should be yours now for the guf and the peris lachar misa? If someone says you should get the guf and the peris from not, it shouldn't be of a matana. For sure, even more, that's a clear proper matana from now. What do you mean? It's mashma only this is a matana, but not fully. If you give it fully from now, it's not a matana. This is Pshat in the Brisa. How do you have an example of matana of a healthy person and it works like matana shchivra only when the person passes away? That's if it says for sure. If a person gives a matana and it says it should be yours fully from now, for sure works. But the Brisa is looking for example of a matana of a bori that works like a matana shchivra, and the only way it works is if you write that it should work from now and lachar misa. Matana shchivra works already, even if you don't say that clearly, because the special takana that the person shouldn't go crazy if you can't give the matana. But a normal matanas bari, you can't give such a matana only if you say that the guf should be yours now, and the parish should be lachar misa. But if you say everything should only start lachar misa, you can't do that, because lachar misa, it's too late to give away in a chosim. You're dead. You don't have the ability to give anything away that you belong, because it doesn't belong to you anymore. It says the Gemara, Yosef Rabba barav huna ba'achser de beirav. V'Yosef v'ka'omar mishmei de Rav Yochanan. Rabba, the son of Rav Huna, was sitting in the entrance, so I'm not sure exactly what the Achser means of Rav, and he said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Shchiv Mirasha Omar, person who's dying that said, Kisvu, write, Vitnu Mone Leploini, write down, and give a money to someone, to Reuven, Umeis, and he passed away, Ein Koisim V'Noisim, we don't write this down and give it. Why? Shamal Loigoma La'knoise Ele B'Shtar. Because he said, write it down and give it. Maybe he meant he's only willing to give it to this ploini if he writes it down first. And they never managed to write it down before he passed away. Oh, so let's write it down after he passed away. No, so the person's dead. You can't now write a shtar on his behalf. It doesn't belong to him. Omar lehu Rabbi Elazar. Rabbi Elazar told them, Izdaru. Sorry, I disturbed, someone came in. So I'm going to continue. So we said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan that Shchibra that said write and give something to Ploini, and he passed away, we don't do it, because maybe he wanted to be makne to only be shtar, and there's no shtar lachar misa. Amalu Rabbi Elazar. Rabbi Elazar said on this, if darubar, be careful of this. I mean, this is correct, it's a halacha. Rav Shizbi Omar Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Elazar Amro. It wasn't that Rabbi Yochanan said it and Rabbi Elazar agreed to it. No, Rabbi Elazar said it. For Amalu Rabbi Yochanan, and Rabbi Yochanan said on that is Daruba. Omar Rab Nachman Bar Yitzchok Kavosed Rav Shizvi Mistaber. It's more mistaber to say that was Rabbi Elazar who said it, and Rabbi Yochanan agreed to it. Why? If you want to say Rabbi Elazar said it, and Rabbi Elazar was a Talmud of Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Yochanan Asudele. So it makes sense. As the Rebbe said, it's correct what Rabbi Elazar said. If it was Rabbi Yochanan who said it, doesn't make sense that he's a Talmud of Rabbi Yochanan who says, oh, it's correct, this is halacha, he's a Talmud. We don't need his agreement to his Rebbe's din. So it makes no sense. And I'll bring you another raya from the Brisa, that's the one that Rabbi Elazar said it from what we learned. The Sholach Rabin, Nishmeder Ravo, Rabin sent from Eretz Yisrael in the name of Ravo, I think from Eretz Yisrael. Avu Yoidim, you should know, Sholach Rabbi Elazar Lagoilo, that Rabbi Elazar sent his din to the Golos, to Babel, Mishum Rabbeinu, in the name of Rav. Shchimera, Shama Kosvu Numon Leploinu, Mace, and Koisim Benoisnim, Shema Loi Gomalak Noisoi, Elo Bestav, and Stalachar Miso. So we could see it's Rabbi Lozo who said it. Rabbi Yochanan Omat Tibodek. Rabbi Yochanan says, Tibodek, no, you should check. So, on that Gemara asks, Mighty Bodek, what does you should check? What does that mean? Also, Rav Dimi Yoma, when Rav Dimi came, he said, Daitiki mevateles daitiki. If someone's a shchimra going to die, lo aleinu, and he gives a matonas daitiki, and he says, I want someone to get my nechosim, and a minute later he says, I want someone else to get my nechosim. So the second daitiki cancels it, because the last thing that he said before Misa, that's what we follow. And as well, Shchimra Sha'oma Kosvu with Numone Leploinu Meis, our case, Roim Kimiape Koichoi. If he was strengthening the matona by saying, not only I want to give him matona, I want him also to have a star in it. Koisim, then you write it because he meant to give it by words, and he wanted to give also a star to make it strong. So even if he passed away, you could still write a star. It's just a proof, it's not the kinyan. If he wanted that the kinyan shall be done after the Aryeh the star, and now he passed away before we did the kinyan, ein koisim, we don't write it because ein star lachar misa. So that what Rabbi Yochanan means, the bodek, we should check if he meant to be miyape koiche or not, and soon we're going to see how we know that, if he's miyape koiche or not. Mossi Rabbi Abba bar Memel, Rabbi Abba the son of Memel asked the kasha, it says, Barish Oma Kusvu with Numone Leploini, someone who's healthy, not Matnas Shchimera, who said, write down and give a money to someone who makes, and he passed away before they did so. You don't write it because it's meduyik from there. Or shchimera, if you were someone who's dafka bari, that's more chumradik, that's more complicated to do a kinyan. Then we say this, even if he passed away before you wrote the shtar, you should give it. Says the Gemara, he asks the kasha, and he answers it. Like we said, that when do we say that the bari of shchimura you do it? That's when he said, I want to give it now already, I want to give a matnas tzavah shchimura, I want to give it, and I want you also to write the shtar as a proof. Then you do it even lachar misa because the shtar is only a proof. What's the case that it's considered miyape koicha and it really means the kinyan was done by tzavah shchimura and the shtar is only for proof? So the more kuf lamed vav medalef. Because the Amar Rav Chizda, like Rav Chizda said about the din of Shmuel, v'konina minei moisif al maton todo, and v'kinyono minei moisif al maton todo, and we also did the kinyan to be moisif on this matona. That means the matana already chal before, and we did the kinyan afterwards just to be mechazik it. Ochinami, also here, from there we could, from Rav Chizda's din, we could learn to hear, Da'amar af koisvu, af ksuvu v'chatum. He said, I wanted to give Ploini a money or whatever he wants to give him, and also you should write it and sign the document. So we could see it's also, it means I wanted to give it straight away, and matanas tzavah shchimura, and then I also want you to write a document as a proof. And you should give it to him. So even if he passed away before they did the proof, you can do it after Misa because it's only a proof. It's not kinyan. The kinyan happened at a day, the takala of Chazal of a matnas shchimura. Itmar Rav Yudah or Mashmuel alocha koisvim v'noistim, in the case where it's only where he meant to give it now and the shtar was only as a proof. So even lachar misa you write and give it. That in the case where it's talking about where it's niyape koichoi, even la'achar misa we write a shtar and we're going to give it to the person he wanted to give it to. Schus, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, Hashem should protect us and we should learn a lot of Torah. The Torah, each one, Mokim Shaliboy Chofetz, and we should be like to learning, and Hashem should protect us from all our enemies in the world. Thank you very much.